Hey everybody! So, we're reviewing Mr. Robot Season 2, Episode 6.
Yo,
I'm here with my brother Adam,
Adam.
and our names are down here.
Are they?
Yeah.
I don't see them.
Well, they will be.
Are you sure?
Yep.
I hope so.
The beauty of editing.
Whoa.
Flash.
It's not like Hollywood magic.
No, it actually takes a really long time.
Ah.
But we just saw Mr. Robot, and I gotta say, huge fucking surprise in the beginning of the show.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It started out like an 80s ABC TGIF.
I'd say late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Like Family Matters, Full House, Perfect Strangers.
But
You thought it was like Alf, I guess.
well, they were referencing Alf.
I thought it felt a lot like Family Matters to me.
Well, it was the whole TGIF series. You remember that? Thank
Yeah.
God It's Friday.
For
All
some
of those shows had a lot of
For
the same
some
stuff.
reason, it felt like Family Matters, like the beat of the jokes and the family,
The laugh track.
the laugh track, the family aspect. It
Now-
felt a lot like Family Matters. And even the intro was like, on a good day in age, let's pop up, boo boo.
Yeah.
That
So-
was like Family Matters, right?
One of the first, yeah, exactly. But one of the first times I remember recently that they changed the intro for a show was Psych. Remember they would change the intro
Oh,
sometimes? And so it was cool that they changed the entire intro to make it look like that. For this episode, I really liked that.
Yeah, even the station, the USA station,
Yeah, it made it look like it
and
was
some of
from
the
the 80s and
commercials from
90s.
the early 90s.
Yeah, like the Bud Light commercial and
Yeah.
stuff. I swear, I think that Bud Light commercial is actually real because that seems extremely familiar.
Sure.
But seeing Alf, I freaked out because I was a huge fan of Alf when I was a kid. You were a little bit too young for it. You don't remember too much.
I don't remember much Alf, but I remember him. He liked to eat cats, and he was from Melmac,
Yep.
and it was funny. It was definitely funny to like a 5-year-old, because that's probably how old I was when I watched that show.
Yeah, I was about 7 or 8, and I loved the show. I thought it was great. Alf and Perfect Strangers were like two of my favorite nighttime shows that we would watch.
I liked all those shows: Family
Yeah.
Matters, Full House, Perfect Strangers. I watched all those shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we were that age.
It was
the
like
perfect
it was
age
like
for
the
it,
night you got to eat pizza or ice cream,
right?
and school was done for the week. You're like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking Friday.
Everybody was allowed to sleep in on Saturday.
Yeah. So you stayed up late. You ate pizza and ice cream. You watched Family Matters, Perfect Strangers.
Of course, we would still wake up early on Saturday to watch cartoons and then
Yes.
piss off Dad because we got too loud.
Yes. WWF style.
Who's gonna be on the couch until the next commercial break? Good memories. But the opening for this episode was surprising and refreshing, and just I loved it. It was so good. And
They're constantly trying to do something different.
yeah,
So I mean, these kinds of delusions he's having, or dreams he's having, there's a lot of creative leeway with that, and I really like that.
yeah. The idea behind the reasoning of why they did it is he was getting beat up at the time, and his other personality, which is his father, Mr. Robot, that personality is the protector. So whenever something bad happens, that personality is supposed to take over, which is what happens with a lot of multiple personality people. Whenever you see a multiple personality storyline, there's always a dominant that takes all the pain so that the main personality doesn't have to deal with it. And the way that they ended up doing it for this episode was when he came out of it, he was in the hospital bed, and across the hall from him that he could see through the glass from the room was playing Alf on TV. So his brain was referencing all of those TV shows, like they were probably watching Me TV or something on Man, the computer keeps dinging at me. But anyway.
The last backup did not complete. We're hacking some shit while we're doing this video.
Totally.
Our hack is complete.
But anyway,
I think it was like, you know, it goes along the lines of the oversaturated fake world that Elliot is sick of.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably like, it freaks him out. He hates it.
But at the same time, it's somewhat of a comfort.
No, I don't think it's a comfort.
No?
I don't see why you say that, but...
Well, I think the reason his brain was referencing the TV show was not only because he saw it in the hospital, but because it might be a pleasant memory from his past and would be a comfort.
I don't see that.
No?
I'm
just grabbing at stuff, but...
No, I mean, you see what you see in a show. Maybe it's different from other people, but...
Because if my brain was going to create a fantasy world to block out all of my pain that was going on at the moment, I would probably reference something really cheesy like that too, like The Princess Bride or...
Yeah, but it wasn't like, you know, we're going to the dog park and we're going to Sally's birthday party. It was like, I'm going to punch your sister.
Yeah,
and burn her arm with a cigarette. There's a guy in the trunk.
Yeah. It was a very dark version of the 80s sitcom.
So yeah, he's trying to like process. I mean, I guess he's trying to process what's going on in his life.
Right.
And
now we did get.
But he still sees the world as fake and fucked up and untruthful, and that's how I see it.
And we did get to see Tyrell again. However, he was just tied up in the trunk.
Yeah.
And then Alf ran over the cop, who was played by Gideon.
Yeah.
And then that was it. But it was a very interesting opening. I was totally on board for that.
It was kind of like the scenes he has with his dad. Like, what the fuck's going on?
Right.
Like, what do we do next? What am I doing? Like, what am I doing here?
And I like the fact that it's a show that you can't really predict what's going to happen from episode to episode.
Yeah, we've said that before.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I mean, we kind of knew that they were going to... other stuff happened in this episode. Like, we knew Angela was going to go and try and...
Right.
Put that... whatever that box thing was.
Yeah, and the programming.
What was that, a router? Or what
it was a router. Yeah. It was a wireless router.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to force all of the cell
phones. You
phones.
can kind of see one or two things. But they always do something you don't expect. Most of the episode, you don't expect it.
Right. Well, when we ended with, in the opening sequence where Elliot wakes up in the hospital, and then Ray shows up. And that scene he was very dark. That's probably the darkest I've seen.
You know what I realized in that scene? Is now they're trying to show, like, certain kinds of criminals. Like, he's like the traditional fucked up criminal. Like, mob boss kind of.
Right. And
then the head of Evil Corps, he's like a more modern, fucked up corporate criminal.
Like evil antichrist businessman kind of person.
Yeah, so... I think they're just, maybe it's like a juxtaposition just to, you know, like showing each of those side by side, like each kind of criminal, like they're both criminals. Like, which is worse? Do you want to live in a world with Rays, or do you want to live in a world with the evil head guy?
Right.
I mean, it's one or the other, it seems like. Because now it's just getting worse. The world's getting worse. Businesses are going out of business. Crime is up. Like, would you rather live in a world with a bunch of corporations and criminals, or would you like to live in a world with a bunch of Rays, with your traditional fucked up criminal? That's kind of what I got when I saw that first scene. Did you pick that up?
No, but it makes sense. It's like, you know, kind of pick one. However, at the same time, Ray is living in the same world as the E Corp bad guy because he's kind of working for them in a way that he's trying to get the server back up. But it's not because he's working with Evil Corp. It's more of like they would just benefit from the fact that the server would be back up. But he wants the server up because his business is hurting because of it. But that was probably some of the darkest acting I've seen Craig Robinson do. And I was on board for it. I thought he did a great job.
He's been dark all season, I thought.
Well, he was kind of light in the first couple of episodes until you realized who he was.
No jokes?
No, just a good, personable person. He was more of a personable person. In this episode, he was very dark, like, this is why you got beat up. Now you need to do what I want you to do or you're going to get hurt more. Intimidating. He was more intimidating. But we didn't get anything else from him except later at the end of the episode where they grabbed him from the hospital bed and dragged him out. Which I guess is to take him back to the room to make him start working on the server again. To make it work. He's like, you've healed enough.
Yeah,
Get
I
you
don't
back
know.
to work.
No, he wasn't in that room.
No, he wasn't in there, but they did kidnap him from the hospital.
And they just threw him in a room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's Ray's crew and that they're trying to get him back to work on the server.
Or they're keeping him for something.
Yeah. Because the server's still not up. So he's still losing business.
What was up when he looked up the site, right? Didn't he finish at the end of the last episode?
No. No, he found the website. But there's something else that he was supposed to get up. So
I thought
they beat him up because
your server isn't up, your website isn't up.
That's true, but there's multiple servers. I'm sure he has something else on the server that was down.
Whatever.
Anyway, he still needs that server to come up, and it hasn't been fixed yet. Other than that, most of the rest of our story was about Angela.
Yeah, it was Darlene and Angela trying to get that box inside Evil Corp.
Yeah, she had to learn the code that she had to be able to use. Now, what I really liked about that entire sequence is a lot of movies they'll try and like skip over all of that stuff because that's more reality of what it's like to hack. And if you watch like a Mission Impossible movie, they would walk into the room and like drop a special device on a table and it does everything for you. But in this, she has to like get down on the floor, plug in the router and plug in the modem and everything else, and then actually put in the programs and set it up. Like, it went into great detail that, no, it's a lot of stuff that you physically have to do just to set it up. It's not just dropping the special computer program.
And it didn't even work. She had to go back to her computer.
Yeah.
And then the cop was there. So we don't know if they actually got it set up.
Right. We know that Darlene couldn't get connected, and she had to go and start doing stuff on the other terminal, and then they kind of left it at that. Like, we don't know whether or not it's working or not. I'm assuming that on the next episode they'll come back and she'll be like, we're connected, and they'll just move on.
Or the last thing the cop said, she was like, oh, are you still on the phone? I hate it when people do that. Then Angela could just say something like, yeah, give me a second, bitch. So I can fucking finish this. Right? That's probably what she's going to say, right? But maybe she could see her screen. I don't know what she was doing. She was in that crazy hacker Linux, whatever that was.
She would be able to understand what was going on. She's shown in her.
Did she see the screen?
Probably.
Probably.
She saw that it wasn't a normal Windows. It was a...
Maybe Angela closed it in time. She doesn't know how to hack her stuff like that.
She doesn't know the quick
Does
keys.
she know commands?
No, I doubt it.
She might. She might know commands.
She might know them if she watched a lot of porn at work and had to like.
Oh, dude, you know.
Skip away.
Every employee is doing that.
But I didn't see her do anything.
Well, she worked at a computer company. She knows stuff about computers. She's no dummy.
Right.
She might know commands.
Uh,
Like I work remotely, but when I go into the office, all these people, they work with computers. They're not like hackers or anything, but they know commands. A lot of them just
they're savvy.
They like to use the keyboard commands instead of. I'm a dorky. I'm using a mouse. Like all these people are like click 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 click. Like I don't know things.
Well, that's why
But she probably does. That's my logic for why she might know commands.
Because she's more clickety clackety than Mouse
me.
Movie.
Yes, she's more clickety clackety than I am.
But
no, she probably knows commands.
I have 2 monitors, so I don't use commands too much anymore. I like to use the mouse. But ever since I got a second monitor, I can't be on a computer with just one monitor. I feel so limited.
She probably knows.
She probably knows all of the quick clickety clackities.
She's probably click. I don't know. What are we talking about? What are we doing?
Is that the scene right after she talked to the FBI agent?
Yeah, bitch, I'm on the phone. What are we even talking about? Let's move on.
When she was up on the 23rd floor is where the FBI agents were.
I don't know.
Where they're doing their investigation. She got stopped by that one FBI agent that had been like, as she's talking to him, Darlene and the other guy are like telling her stuff about the guy over her ear. The fact that he's only been in the bureau for a year and this and that.
His mom calls him too much.
Yeah, he calls his mom too much. But she ended up setting a date with him. Do you think she's going to actually go on the date with him and have more story going on? She would have to, because if she didn't... Is that a spider?
It's a cricket.
We got a cricket in the house. Chirp, chirp. Chirp, chirp. Anyway, so she would have to go on that date with that guy, because if she doesn't, then it's suspicious. Sure. So I'm wondering if something is going to happen with that, like,
lies covering up lies.
Yeah, lies and more lies.
Maybe.
Yeah. To expand the drama of that whole sequence.
Maybe.
Other than that, we didn't have too much more in the episode.
Well, what I thought was interesting was when Angela was about to leave and Darlene's boyfriend walked in. You didn't know who he was. I don't know how much alcohol you drank. I don't know why you don't know who he is. You still don't know who he is?
Darlene's oh, yeah.
But do you know why they looked at each other weird?
Yeah, because she recognized him.
From what?
Well, you just said it's Darlene's boyfriend. I didn't put the connection
No.
of the guy.
Well, he gave Angela the CD from the first season.
That's right.
And it fucked up her life. But I don't think she cares now, because she's probably happy she's not with that boyfriend anymore.
That's the guy that was the
rap
he was
guy.
Between the Chinese and Darlene.
Yeah, that guy. Why didn't you recognize him?
I don't know. I don't know why I didn't recognize him in that scene, but anyway.
But I thought that was interesting. She was probably just like, you would probably think she was gonna get pissed at him, but then she probably was like, I didn't like that boyfriend anyways, so I don't care why you changed my life. Or
she might have been afraid that he was going to like out her.
Out her?
Yeah, be like, hey, I know her, and like give her away. But he didn't. They just kind of looked at each other and then didn't say anything. Because if she says that she knows him, that's going to, let everyone else know who she actually is. And if he tells everybody that he knows her, that's going to get her in trouble. So really, him being quiet is actually more
not
important,
between
right?
the hackers. That was in the hacker house.
Right?
I don't see the big deal of why anybody knew if they knew each other. I just kind of saw it as like he changed her life.
Right.
He fucked over that guy, her boyfriend, but it affected her life. She could have been really pissed, but she played it cool. Probably because she's probably happier where she is now than where she was before.
Yeah, especially after last episode when she had the dinner with the guy, he became super uber creepy. Her ex-fiance.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, oh man, I dodged a bullet with that one. But maybe they'll have some more on that. They didn't really touch on the Chinese or E-Corp that much. It was pretty much stuck
Well,
with...
Chinese gave him the router.
Yeah, but that was about it.
And stuck the needle into his finger.
Oh, man, that... Ugh.
Ouch.
I had a splinter one time that went in my
everybody's
finger.
had a splinter one time on the end of their finger.
But it went into my... Yeah, it went underneath my fingernail. And it was so tiny.
And he cried like a little baby because he was a little baby.
But when pulling it out, it was like the most excruciating shit ever. Ugh. So whenever I see things where they do stuff under the fingernail or on the
no one's
tip
had
of
a
the finger.
splinter before, so they wouldn't know.
But man, that was... And then they broke the needle off inside.
Yes.
Whatever they injected him with.
Or if they did they even inject him with anything?
There was a liquid in there. In the needle.
It seems like they just stuck it in there and broke it off. I don't know.
Ugh. Ugh. So I wonder what'll happen with him. Maybe they'll torture him for info.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah.
The Darlene's boyfriend?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think it's gonna be good for him because he's in the middle of the Chinese, and he's in between hacker groups. So he's like the gateway between the hacker groups. He's like Darlene and her boyfriend. Like they're kind of like the communication between hacker groups.
And he's really the only connection they have.
Yeah.
So if they take him out, there's no real connection between the two groups.
Well, Darlene contacted White Rose without his permission at the end of the last season.
That's right.
So, I think they could, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, that guy, he's probably fucked. He'll eventually probably get killed by that.
And his character is expendable.
Yeah.
Oh, I yawned. Yeah, his character is expendable. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets knocked off. But maybe they want to get some info out of him or something first.
I don't know.
Like maybe that was a truth serum that he injected in his finger.
What?
I don't know. But, yeah, we didn't really jump around too much on the episode. We had Elliot's story and Angela's story, and then that was about it.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on this episode?
Well, you finally got to see Terrell, but it wasn't that weird, fucked up in his own head.
Yeah. Trapped in the trunk of the car. Which, you know, maybe we'll get to see him at some point soon. Maybe
Are they just being metaphorical with him in the trunk? Or
yeah, like a dirty secret.
no, like he's in hiding.
Right.
So he's in the trunk.
But like Elliot's really the only person that knows he's alive.
Yeah.
His wife knows.
Now his wife knows.
From
But
his
Elliot
breathing.
doesn't know
But
that.
Elliot's the only one that really has talked to him.
Yeah, like 3 words.
Yeah. Which is more than his wife got. So, yeah, I think that's kind of letting us know that he's still around. And
But I bet you... Remember when I talked about the traditional criminal and the corporate criminal?
right.
I bet you they're going to keep doing that. from now on, like reminding you of like what's worse, this new world with the traditional criminal or the corporate criminal of before the hack.
So kind of like
I think they're gonna keep doing that, just to push your mind to what's a better situation, anarchy or corporate capitalist world.
so like kind of like what happened when they made alcohol illegal, and it created the thing where all of the mobs became popular because they were supplying all of the alcohol. So it's like, which do you want? Do you want the corporations that run the alcohol industries, or do you want the mob?
Yeah.
So we'll probably see a lot more of Ray and have like a, not a back and forth, but we'll see reflections of how Ray does things and how
The evil
E-Corp
core
does
guy
things.
does things, yeah.
That would be cool.
I bet you they'll do that from now on. Or I think that's what they've been trying to show us this season, and I just realized it.
I'm hoping next
Or
episode...
maybe they were doing it in the first season with that drug dealer.
I didn't really catch that off of there, but
The drug dealer that kidnapped his girlfriend and then killed her.
I know, but I didn't pull that reference out of that.
I guess they're just trying to show all kinds of crime. Like
Right.
like in Game of Thrones, they're kind of showing like all different levels of evil and good. Like at one moment you were going for Cersei against the sparrows, but once Cersei killed the sparrows, you're like, fuck, Cersei's in power. Fuck.
Right. Like
So they're showing like all different levels of good and evil in Game of Thrones. That's their thing. I think in Mr. Robot they're showing all different types of criminals. And the hackers in the gray area.
they're kind of stuck in the middle.
They sometimes they do bad things, but sometimes they do good things. Hackers are kind of in the gray area, right?
Oh yeah, because
There's like an ethical gray area you can debate with hackers.
yeah, you have malicious hackers and you have good hackers.
Yeah.
You have so it's
So they're showing. I think they're showing all types of criminals, good and bad,
right.
and all.
Well, and they did do that in the first season with the hackers. Like they were showing Elliot as a good hacker, where he would catch criminals and stop bad people.
And he wanted to do it to Ray, just in the last episode.
Right.
He was debating on if he should still do that.
But then you had the other side where they actually took down, a bunch of credit and did a malicious act in hacking.
So there's always there's always an ethical reason behind hacking, right?
Yeah, it just depends on what kind of, what your ethics are from the hacker's point of view. Some of them.
But there's
some
no
pretty messed
ethical
up
reason
ethics.
behind Ray. There's no ethical reason behind the E-Corp.
No, that's just money.
That's just money for both those guys.
Yeah,
So they have these comparisons right in front of your face.
right.
They're doing that on purpose.
It's good writing.
Yes, good storytelling, good writing.
So I'm hoping on the next episode we'll probably get I want more story about the Chinese. I want to get a little bit more from them.
Yeah, we're probably gonna get more of them still trying to cover it up.
Yeah, Mr. Chen. I want to see some more of Mr. Chen.
Chang,
Chang.
White Rose. I call him White
Yeah,
Rose.
White Rose. They said his name once in the previous episode,
Yeah.
and I had to watch it like 4 times, just that scene, just to figure out it was Chen. It's like CHENG or something.
So this rest of the season is them. They're gonna still try to cover this up.
Right. So any other thoughts on this episode?
Nope.
Well, if you guys saw the episode, comment below and let us know what you thought about it. What were your thoughts. What did you glean that we missed? What do you think about the stuff that we touched on? You can see my Patreon and social medias and the mailbox. Actually, I've got some news. Someone sent me a message and said that they're mailing me something and I should get it next week.
Something.
Right. Now you're hoping it's a bologna sandwich.
I'm hoping it's Josh Groban tickets inside of a rotten bologna sandwich.
No.
Or inside the pocket of a Mr. Robot jacket.
But you know what's funny is the guy that told me he sent me something, it seems like it's something he would do. Like he would probably do that just because he has the same kind of humor you have. But
nice.
So
it is Josh.
I might be
Groban
doing an
tickets.
unboxing for that whatever it is that I get from that guy next week. But we'll see.
What's in the box?
Yeah, what's in the box?
Brad Pitt style.
But you guys can mail me stuff too.
What's in the box?
All of the links to all this stuff is in the description box below. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. And we'll see you next week on the next episode.